What is up, guys? I'm very excited because today we're talking with photographer Cassidy Lynne of Cassidy Lynne Photography. So Cassidy has really grown her Instagram and her TikTok in boatloads. Like, I'm talking thousands per day. So it's very exciting to get to talk to her and kind of talk to her more about using TikTok as a medium and Instagram to sort of grow as a photographer. So let's get into it.
So, for people out there that probably don't know you on this part, just kind of give an idea of who you are and sort of what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Cassidy. I'm a wedding photographer based in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I've been doing it for I think 3 years-ish now. It might be two. I'm kind of bad with years. But yeah, I do wedding photography, and I actually just recently started doing TikTok and growing my Instagram. And I'm sort of transitioning into being like this photography educator. So yeah, that's basically what I do for my full-time job.
I was gonna say that's what I thought recently. I noticed I'm like, boy, she's hitting that transition where it's like suddenly it's gonna be like maybe not less photography, but yeah, more of like in that educational role,
Yeah.
which is cool. It's awesome.
Yeah, totally.
So, kind of talk about and obviously we're more film centric, I guess. So, I'm really interested in about using TikTok as just a means of growing your business in general, but also as an outreach to, I feel like, probably a very different demographic than you're used to.
Right. Yeah. I think that's the main reason why I started doing TikTok is because TikTok reaches a completely different audience than what I have on Instagram. So, basically I started doing TikTok in the summer just for fun. Like I was just posting like fun photography videos. Didn't really think anything of it. But then as I started posting more, I started to gain more traction, and I knew I always wanted to kind of become an educator or some sort of teacher with photography, but I didn't really know that was how I was going to do it. But basically, using TikTok, I'm able to push people to my other social media platforms, push them to my website in ways that I can't do on Instagram or Facebook or Pinterest. Because basically on TikTok, you're getting like in front of this whole new audience that you normally wouldn't have, especially with the For You page. You get like a bunch of random people that you pop up on their page, which is crazy and it's awesome, especially for people that are wanting to grow in that way. So yeah, that's kind of how I use TikTok, is by just like getting in front of those people that I typically wouldn't.
Now, I say one of the things I liked about what you're showing too is I feel like it's interesting content. Like it's not just because I've been on TikTok a little bit, and some of the stuff you see, you're just like, what is this coming from? So, what kind of what keeps you creative and active in making both educational TikToks, but also ones that are still entertaining? Because obviously, at the end of the day, that's you want
Oh
both.
yeah, for sure. This is gonna sound horrible, but I'm on TikTok all the time. Like literally, if I'm scrolling through any social media, it's TikTok because it's entertaining, like it's positive, it's funny, and I feel like you can find that education on there too. So my creativity just stems from, I guess, watching other people's videos and just seeing like what's trendy, what types of videos do well, and then usually I'll go through and like save sounds that I like, and then I do like a big batch work day where I film all my TikToks in one day. So actually this morning I was filming TikToks. And when I do that, I basically just like let my creativity flow. Like I'll do probably like 4 or 5 educational videos, but then I challenge myself to do like 3 outside of the box videos. And if those videos perform well, then I keep making them in different types, like a series kind of.
Yeah, I was going to say that's got to be that's at least what interests me because my colleague Zach, who's also on the channel and podcast, we always kind of talk about obviously staying creative, but not only staying creative, but staying on top of trends. And we were saying how it can be so difficult. So, do you think that in watching a lot of TikTok, it puts you in a spot where you can kind of anticipate what maybe might be a trend or what already is?
Yeah, for sure. I think that watching TikToks is like one of the most important things you can do if you want to build like a successful TikTok. If you know like what's up and coming, then you can kind of like be ahead of the trend. I actually follow a few people on TikTok that have an account that shows you like what is trending and like what's coming up next. So it's really helpful for me to see those accounts because they like tell me what I need to be posting. And it's funny because as someone who's educating people, I follow educators who are educating me on how to make TikTok. So it's like this big circle.
Right. I feel it's the same way with filmmaking. Like we'll look for like filmmaking videos that we're then like teaching and we're maybe finding something different. So it's like you'll watch a cool video on how to, maybe a photography technique and then you'll twist it or you'll figure out how you can use it differently and then show your audience kind of in like a different way.
Right. Yeah, totally.
And so I guess from a technical aspect, like how are you actually making these TikToks? Like what are you using? Are you using lights? Are you like how far are you going into
Oh,
this?
honestly, I want to go far. Like I want to go hard, but right now I'm not. So really I just use my phone and I just use the TikTok app. It's really easy. Like they have a bunch of features that like Instagram Reels doesn't have. So I prefer to make all my videos in the TikTok app and then I save them as like live photos to my camera roll and then upload them to Instagram. As far as my setup goes, it's so lame. I have a window right here and I just like use my window light and I use a white wall. And that's about it. I don't really do anything besides just making it in the app and using like those random effects that TikTok has. So like some green screen effects or if it's a trending effect, I'll try it. But for the most part, it's not like anything fancy. Like you can literally do it with a window. Like that's just what I do.
I'll say that's what I find so interesting too, is like sometimes that's what works. Like, I mean, you don't have to have a crazy setup or anything wild. So I think it's awesome that you're making stuff,
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, for sure.
So okay, so obviously turning this into your job now, you're saying you're kind of maybe in a transitional piece. What is it like turning it from just hey, I'm popular on TikTok to actually turning that into like an actual business and a business model? I know you're probably in the
Yeah.
learning stages of this too, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's definitely hard because you like I want to create educational content without being like buy my stuff or like trying to sell myself. Like I want my videos to be of value to people and I want that to be the reason that people go to my website and check out my store or follow me. So I think the hardest thing is getting that conversion. So you have a follow, you have a like, but how do you get that person to then check out your website and then book a mentor session or buy a educational piece from you. So one of my main ways that I do this is by offering something free. So on my website, I have like a free posing guide. It's really simple and I made it in like maybe 30 minutes, but I've had probably 1,000 people download that PDF. And from there, they get put on my email list where I will send them like stuff about what's going on in my shop. So my main thing is just like giving free content where I can like get some sort of information from them. So like an email address or something where then I can push myself as a photography educator, but not in a salesy way because everyone sends emails. So that's like normal. But on my TikTok, I don't want to be like, I just launched a new guide, buy it. Like no one's gonna buy it. Like that's not how it works.
No, I think that's interesting because that's what we do something kind of similar in a little bit of more video. We offer like LUT packs, which are for the video and stuff like that. So, and it's the same idea where you bring people to the store. Like we have one actually was a free download, a free clip,
Yeah.
and people would go in, they download it, and then yeah, we got all their emails that we then use on their newsletter, so we can send out information on new products and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you're using social media so heavily for that, obviously too. Like we use YouTube obviously, which is so
Yeah.
different from like TikTok and Instagram. So
Right.
what do you see as the future of like growing this educational content? Like do you have things you'd like to do or that you plan to do or you want to try to do?
Oh yeah, I have so many things I want to do. My biggest thing is I want to like create presets. I feel like I could get better in editing. So I want to get better in editing and then I do want to sell presets at some point. I just don't feel like I'm there yet. Like to be completely transparent, like I edit using someone else's preset, which is awesome and I'm glad that I bought it, but I want to get to a point where I like know editing well enough. So that's something that I want to do. I also think I want to do like consistent educational content like guides and stuff like that. I would love to launch like a really big course. So I have an Instagram course that's launching this week, but I want to launch something that's like really big and really extensive because I wish I would have had something like that when I first started. So I think that's kind of where I'm heading. I would also love to do like a TikTok reel like deep dive type of guide or tutorial, because I get so many questions about like the technical, like how do you film them, like you were asking, or like what features do I use. So I feel like I could just like make something like that. It would be really helpful for a lot of people.
Yeah, 'cause it kind of be like your master class, right? Like you could have, you know, like
Right.
different sections, like your Instagram, your
Yes.
TikTok, your social media. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's awesome. I think that type of, I think people love that like relatability too, where it's like, oh, you're someone who's doing this and you're showing. Like obviously your Instagram feels like it's blowing up. I feel like every time I see your Instagram, like I think what is it, almost
Yeah.
20,000 this
Yeah.
morning, and it was at like what, like 14,000 the other
Yes, like
day.
every day I wake up and it's like I gain like 1,000 followers, and I'm like, what is happening? Like, what am I doing that I'm gaining all these people?
That's what I was going to ask you too. So I know you obviously have the guide coming out, so you don't want to spoil anything for
Right.
anybody. But is there anything that you see, even if it's more conceptually, as to why your TikTok is growing, and sort of what are, you know, maybe like just one thing that's like, what's key
Yeah,
about
I think the main thing for my TikToks and my Instagram just in general is that people are finding value in my social media. So for me, value is like that free tip or like the educational content that they're getting from me that is valuable to them. So they're hitting the follow, they're liking, they're commenting. Those are like really important things for social media, is just making sure that your social media has a purpose. And that's something that I go over in my Instagram course, is just like giving purpose to your followers. Like, how do you give purpose to people? And I think that's one of the main reasons that I'm growing so much, is because my content is just something that people want to save for later and it's valuable to them. So I think that's one of the main things for me, is just giving value to the people that follow me.
I'll say, because I feel like there's a lot on Instagram and TikTok where you're just following for maybe entertainment value, or maybe it's like you just following them because you know them or something like that. So yeah, anytime you can bring that value, I think that's obviously huge, and obviously it's
Yeah,
working so
yeah, for
well.
sure.
So have you started to do this type of education for other brands or other companies? Because I feel like companies in particular would probably look at this and be like, wow, you know, like if she can grow this, like we could grow.
Right. I've been approached by a few brands, like kind of asking for some sort of like influencer thing. I haven't really taken anyone up on it yet, only because like I haven't really found a brand that I feel like I would work well with. I used to actually work for a nonprofit where I was in charge of their social media and photography. And I feel like I'm really good at growing myself, because like I know myself, I'm a personal brand. But when it comes to like another person's brand, I don't know how effective I would be, because like if you're trying to sell like a product, that's a lot harder and it's like not as personal. And like as far as like an influencership goes, like with myself, I don't feel like I want to just like push out products just because people are sending them to me. Like I want to push something out that I actually believe in and like is actually beneficial, and I haven't found that yet. So I think once like I find that brand where I'm like, oh yes, like I want to support you, then I would do it. But right now it's just been like a lot of weird like nutrition brands and like random stuff where I'm like, not, that doesn't really match.
Right. Yeah, we've gotten some weird stuff from the YouTube channel. People will just like send us gear, and there's some that's great and we love, and then there's others where it's like I really don't want to do a video about this because it's really not that good, and I don't want to just go on and like hate about this
Right.
company for however
Yeah,
long.
yeah,
So
it can be awkward because I got approached by like a camera gear, like I don't know how to describe it, kind of like a case company, and I didn't really like it. And they were like gonna send it to me and like ask me to make a video, and I was like, I can't be fake and like make a video where I'm like, I don't like it. So yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
right, yeah, no, I feel like that's all the time, especially.
Mhm.
Um, So, okay, they kind of get on the photography end of it, and obviously, I guess it goes into everything. But so, I think the listeners and viewers would love to know gear wise, because people are gearheads on our channel big time. Well, sort of like what gear you're using,
Yeah.
and maybe why you picked that gear and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, this is such a loaded topic for me. So I use Sony. I shoot on the Sony A9, and I have a Zeiss 35 millimeter 1.4 that I use. That's like my main combo. And then I also use an 85. It's like a Sony 85 1.8. So it's not anything super special. I also really love my Sony A7 III. So that's like my backup camera. So for photography, that's like my perfect combo. That's like what I'm vibing with. I used to shoot on Canon, which you could get me going on like why I switched. Like I could go on and on, like
I feel like a
forever.
lot of people switch, yeah, from Canon to
Yeah.
Sony.
Yeah. And it's been a really great switch for me just because I use like autofocus and I love to rely on my camera for a lot of things because like it's expensive. Like I'm going to rely on it to do things for me. And Sony just like was perfect for what I need as far as like eye tracking, and it's super fast. It's lightweight. It's like way better quality in my opinion. So yeah, I used to shoot Canon, but now I shoot Sony and it's been so good.
I love that. I feel like I've seen a lot of like 35 millimeter portraits like in the last like couple of years. It
Yeah.
seems to be like something about the look, and I'm a sucker for it too, because even for video, because I think it's just the field of view is so nice, but you still get like a good look at people. It's not like way
Right.
too wide, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it's so perfect. Like I feel like it's so versatile too. So like with like an 85 or 50, I feel like I need to like back up or like always be prepared for my shot. But with a 35, like I can just turn and take a picture of something and it looks great, you know?
I was gonna say, so when for your kind of style of photography, do you find that because there's some people that are very technical, like Zach and I are very technical people, but we're also creative in the sense of we like to use the technology in the creative process, and there's some people that are the opposite, where they're super creative and they hate the technical aspect. It feels like it's a burden to them. Which one are you think?
I'm probably the one that you're not. So I feel like I love the 35 because it's kind of like a point and shoot where I can set my settings and then I can focus on just creating the image. I'm not super great with like the technical details of my camera, like the settings and stuff, like in my menu. Like I haven't really changed a whole lot because like I don't know about that stuff really. And like, I'm sure I could deep dive into some YouTube videos and figure it out. But I think for the most part, like I do a lot of candids, especially at weddings and like events and stuff. So I really love to focus on the creativity in composing the shot and then not worrying so much about like the random settings that I don't know anything about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I say, because I know some people are like that, where they're like, I got to start with the creative and then go backwards. And there's some people like I said, like us, where we kind of start with the technical, which helps us find those
Right.
creative things sometimes, because it almost like pushes
Yeah.
us. So it's always interesting to hear how people work
Yeah. And
differently.
I
And
think that makes sense, like what you said, where you can figure out the technical stuff first and then it'll help you create the creative image in the end. I think that makes a lot of sense too. So I think either
yeah,
way it works.
I feel like it's sometimes like what I find is it can push me into somewhere that I didn't think about. But then again, it's probably the opposite for you, where it's like you probably thought of something that you never would have thought of, and maybe the creative got, or maybe the technical stuff got in your way,
Right.
which can probably be
Yeah.
annoying. And I know it can go the
Yeah.
opposite for
Yeah.
me. So when you're shooting, so you obviously do weddings. Now, do you like doing weddings? Do you like doing portraits? Like, what's your favorite style
Yeah,
of shoot?
I 100% love weddings. A little bit of my backstory. I started as a no, I didn't. I started as a college like event photographer. So I got hired on by a college as their photographer. So I was doing a lot of events and stuff, but on the side, I really like doing portraits. So I kind of combined the two, and I feel like that's where weddings came in because weddings are portraits. Like you have sessions, like sections of the day where you're doing portraits, but a lot of it is that event candid style stuff. And I think that's where I thrive, is where there's not like a shot list or a right or wrong way to do it. It's just like capture this event as it happens and capture the emotion as it happens. So I think that's why I like weddings so much, and that's why I've been sticking with it, is because there's no right or wrong way to capture it. It's just kind of like how the day feels. That's how I capture things, and it just like lets me be really creative. And I feel like there's always ways to improve and like change in wedding photography. So I just really like that aspect of it, and I think that's why I've stuck with it for so long.
And I feel like it's always different too. Like it's never it's usually never the same. So there's always that constantly, like you may be in the same location, and the couple could be wearing almost identical clothes, but it's still going to be
Yeah,
different.
100%. And it's like so fun too, because every couple is different, like you're saying. So there's going to be like different bridal parties. Like some are fun, some are more like formal, and like that's fun. Like I like to see how different personalities play out, and then to be able to capture that too is just like a new challenge, but like I love it.
So when you shoot your wedding or what does like the average day for you sort of look like? And when it could be a day doing TikToks, could be a day doing weddings. Like, what are those kind of, what's the daily workflow for
Yeah.
you?
So I am full time with my wedding photography business. So I do a lot of batch work. So like one day, usually in the morning, I will film all my TikToks for the week, and then I will post those on Reels too. And then usually within that same day, I do my social media planning. So I try to do like a week or two in advance, just so I'm not like stressing about it. A lot of my time is actually correspondence with clients. I try to give my clients the best experience that I can. And so I try to be as like on top of my emails as I can, and just like giving my couples as much information that they need. So I do a lot of emailing back and forth. So usually that's before I start TikToks or before I do anything else in the day. I'm just responding to emails and just making sure my people are met with their needs. If I have a shoot, it's usually at night, or like towards the evening, just because I like that golden light and it's just better for photos in my opinion. So I sometimes do like prep work in the afternoons, but if I get all my stuff done in the morning, I usually will take like the afternoon off at like 3 or something and just kind of like chill. I also do like Pinterest stuff. So one day out of the week, I'll schedule Pinterest, and then another day I write blog posts, and then I like work that into my emails. So I feel like every day of the week is like a different category. And then I just do the same thing every week. And then if I have a shoot, I kind of like incorporate that into my schedule.
I was gonna say that takes some serious organization, because I can imagine that would get crazy. I mean, I feel like I get enough emails where I'm like, you know what, I'm done with this.
Yeah, honestly, I have to limit myself like with emails. Like I'll respond to all my emails, and then I'll just like shut it off and then respond to them the next day, because it can't be like this 911. I'm responding to every email right when it comes in, because then I get so scatterbrained and I just like lose track of what I'm doing.
So I could be wrong, but I think you're using HoneyBook, right? Because I did
Yeah.
get a. Okay. So I started using HoneyBook like last year for the weddings, because it was like getting a little too crazy. So how has that been for you? Because I think that's something that people don't think about, like client management software. I think it just kind of like trickles off the brain for
Right.
most.
Yeah, you don't think about it, but I didn't realize I needed HoneyBook until I started using it. I literally juggle at like right now I have 30 active projects for next year. So that's all weddings. And like I can't imagine trying to keep track of all those weddings without having it all in one place. Before I had HoneyBook, I was using a Google Doc and writing all of my like dates and then all the info I needed for each client. And it was like this multiple page doc, and it was so overwhelming. And then just emailing in Google with like a bunch of random emails I got. Like I was losing emails back and forth. It was so hard. And then contracts too. I don't even know how I was sending contracts. I think I was like mailing them in the mail. So now with HoneyBook, I literally just have it all in one place, and I can like keep track of like my inquiries as they come in, and like bring them along my, I think it's called pipeline. So I like track like what stage they're in, if they paid a retainer or not, if I need to follow up with them. It's just like so easy to be a wedding photographer. Like it feels like it shouldn't be this easy, but it is, you know?
Right. So I did the same thing with the sheet, like the Google sheet. It was like filled with stuff, and you're like,
Yeah.
and I can't tell you how many times I remember trying to figure out how to get like the dates where like if you got the same date, it would like turn red.
Yeah.
Because I have double booked in the past because of not realizing that all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, I just double booked, and it's like
Right.
now what? And it's like now that doesn't happen. So I've been
Yeah.
like blown away by HoneyBook, but
Yeah.
so it's interesting to see how you're using it.
Yeah, I use it every single day. Like when I check my emails, I go in there and I like like that's my go-to. If I didn't have HoneyBook right now, I probably would like be, I don't even know. Like I don't even know what I would do. Like it just helps me so much.
We should get HoneyBook should be a sponsor after this.
And then yeah, honestly, they
After,
should.
after they hear this, they're gonna be like, hold on,
Yeah.
we're gonna be a sponsor. Um, so to kind of go on the flip side of these things now, so I feel like, and I just know for myself, like when people ask what you do, even just being a photographer or videographer, it's always that weird, like people don't think it's a real job sometimes, so I always think it's funny. Well, it's got to be 10 times harder now to tell people that you make TikToks and that you do stuff on Instagram.
Yeah.
Kind of talk about like that stigma, I feel like, around that type of just that type of content in general.
Yeah, yeah. It can be kind of awkward. I feel like when you go into TikToks, you need to just like get rid of this thing in your mind where you're afraid that people you know are going to see your videos, because it's going to happen. Like TikTok knows who your connections are. They're going to show your videos to people you know. It's going to happen. So I think that was the first thing when I started making TikToks, was I was so afraid that people I knew were going to see my videos. I feel like everyone thinks like I'm a dancer. Like with TikTok, like you just think people dance. Like that's what TikTok is. Like people do TikTok dances. And it's not at all like that. Like I literally can't dance. Like I would never make a dancing video in my whole life. But it does kind of like, there's a stigma of like being an influencer or like something along those lines where like that's, I feel like I still don't feel like I'm an influencer. Like I feel like I'm just a person that's making videos. And I even get some people that are like, I don't know how to act around you. Like you're just like too famous. And I'm like, that's not how it works. Like on TikTok, like, yes, you can get a lot of like followers and views, but like you're still a person, and like being a TikToker is like not even like, it's not what you think it is. Like it's not like doing the whoa and like the, I don't even know, the renegade or whatever. Like that's not what it is. Like
Right.
I'm just like creating content that I normally would create just on a different platform.
Yeah, I feel we've heard the same thing with YouTube. People are like, "Oh, like, do you vlog?" And it's like, "Well, no, like, we make like videos about gear and stuff." And they're like, "Wait, what?"
Right.
And it's like, yeah, like they're like it's educational and it's like, very like job specific stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And I think part of that is just like finding your niche too. Like you guys have a niche of like creating educational content on YouTube, and it's like the same for me. Like my niche is like photography content on TikTok. Like it's not like we have to be vlogging or dancing or I don't even know. Like it's we can still use the platform without being like the average like basic.
Right. Right, exactly. So this is a hypothetical question. If you had to decide between Instagram or TikTok, which one would you pick?
Probably Instagram.
I feel like Instagram's great.
Yeah, it's hard because I love TikTok and I could be on it for hours, but because it's such a new thing and it just like became so big, especially during like March and quarantine, I think I would just pick Instagram. Also because I'm a photographer and I want to show my work, and it's kind of hard to do that on TikTok. And I feel like on Instagram it's more normal to be like, here's my photos. And Instagram just is a little bit more reliable for me at this point. I'm still in the experimenting stages of TikTok, I feel like.
Right. I feel like TikTok's an experiment still in its own.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, who knows what it's gonna, what's gonna be in a couple of years. But it definitely is interesting that it's grown so much, and I do think that it probably will at least stay around for at least a little while. So I mean, obviously, and the stuff that you're making is great tips. I've watched a bunch of them, which are great. And not only that, but I just think that it's nice to see that people are responding so well. That it seems, at least to me, that like it's very positive, which is great. Because in the internet you can always run into the negative. So it's like, how have you tried to keep the community positive, and how has the community been?
It's been good. I think being on TikTok, like I was saying, I've reached a whole new audience that I didn't have on Instagram. So I'm reaching a lot of people who like have a camera but haven't picked it up in a while, or just people who are beginning and don't really know where to start. So I get a lot of encouragement from those people just saying like, your videos have really helped me, like keep it up, stuff like that. And I think that's really encouraging. Even like photographers that are a little bit bigger, like on Instagram, have just commented or followed me on TikTok. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing. And it's cool because it's a platform that I've really excelled in, but a lot of other photographers haven't really tried it. So it's cool to see people kind of like rally up and be like, oh my gosh, I love your videos, even though like I feel like I'm a nobody. So yeah, it's definitely cool. I have gotten a few like trolls on TikTok and Instagram, which happens. But for the most part, people are very encouraging and they just appreciate like a free tip. Like honestly, I would appreciate a free tip too. So yeah.
Yeah, so you can never defeat the trolls. We get them on YouTube sometimes. It's great. It's kind of, honestly, some of them kind of make my day because some of them are funny. Like some people
Yeah.
go like they're like, you know, okay, they roasted me. Fair enough. Like,
Yeah. Sometimes we just have to laugh at them. Like, it's true. Like, if they roast me on something, I'm like, it's kind of true, like, honestly.
fair enough, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
So I guess for the listeners and the viewers on YouTube and on our podcast, where can they find you? Obviously, they know where to find you, but how can they find you? I want you to plug yourself here.
Yes. So on TikTok, I think my username is Cassidy Lynne Photo. Lynne is spelled Lynne. So yeah, you can find me on TikTok there. My Instagram is Cassidy Lynne, Lynne, like before. Yeah, and then I'm also on like Pinterest, but that's like not really a big deal. And then I have my website, which I feel like is really helpful for people. Like I have tips and stuff. So that's CassidyLynnePhoto.com. And then I'm also launching like an Instagram course within this week. We'll see what day it comes out. But basically it's just like a 7-part video series on how to grow your Instagram and like how to use those tools effectively to grow your business. So that's basically what's going on with me.
Awesome. I love it because we're hopefully going to get these up honestly today or tomorrow. So that way people can, go out there and they can find your website and hopefully go purchase it and follow you and get some more from you. So
Perfect.
thank you again for getting interviewed here.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so happy that you guys asked because like this is honestly one of my I think it's my first podcast ever. So
okay. Look at that.
Yeah,
no, I'm excited. I just thought it was great because I think you're doing awesome stuff. And I think you're doing great stuff in, like you said, kind of places where photographers and videographers oddly enough, don't usually do stuff. And I think, I think it's just awesome. And I think too, that there's so much potential obviously for you to grow and that for people to find you and hopefully, grow from that and maybe get better or just do something.
Yeah, totally. I literally want to encourage every single photographer and videographer to just like branch out and try a different platform, especially TikTok, because you don't know where it can take you and you're just going to reach a whole new audience that you don't have already. So yeah, I encourage everyone to at least give it a try.
Right. And you don't have to renegade or do any of that stuff.
No.
You want.
Vlog. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Cass, again. I really appreciate it. And thanks for being on. I'm excited. So
yeah, thank you.